Takeshi stands alone, looking out over the city. His eyes scan the bright billboards and neon-lit buildings, but his mind is elsewhere. Takeshi's troubled soul is haunted by the injustice he sees in the city. Takeshi's parents died when he was young, leaving him alone to fend for himself. It was a tough childhood, marked by loneliness and deprivation. But instead of despair, Takeshi was driven by anger. Anger at a world that had taken everything from him and in which he saw no future. Takeshi knows what it's like to struggle. He's lived it his whole life. He's seen the best and worst of humanity and has come to understand the world's injustices. As he neared the entrance to the slum, Takeshi feels an inexplicable anger rising inside him. It's anger at the system that makes life so difficult for him and his people, anger at the elite who abuse their power and money to oppress the poor. Takeshi detests the elite district and everything it stands for. The rich and powerful who live in their magnificent mansions and cut themselves off from the worries of ordinary people. They look down on the world and see the poor and weak as inferior. Takeshi can't stand this arrogance and ignorance and vows to himself that one day he will do better. The misery and despair that Takeshi sees in the slum makes his heart sink. He sees people struggling to survive, children playing in the streets left to their devices, and women desperate for food and medicine. But he also sees hope in their eyes as they recognize him and know he is fighting for them. Takeshi feels a deep connection to the people in the slum. They're his neighbors and friends, people he grew up with and whose stories he knows. He remembers the old man across the street who was always telling him stories about the old days when the world wasn't so corrupt. Or the young girl he once saved from death when she was hit by a car. She had thanked him over and over again and promised him that one day she would help him. Takeshi's past has shaped him into the person he is today. He knows the pain of losing loved ones, the struggle of living in poverty, and the injustice of a world that's ruled by the elite. But instead of succumbing to despair, Takeshi has used his experiences to fuel his fight for justice.
We need to do something more. Something bigger.
I agree. But what can we do?
We need to start organizing more people. Get the word out. Show them what we're fighting for.
Takeshi knows that change won't happen overnight. He knows that it will take time, effort, and sacrifice. But he's willing to do whatever it takes to create a better future for his people.
I'll start by reaching out to the other neighborhoods. We'll organize a meeting and see how many people we can get on board.
I'll help you. We'll do this together.
Takeshi and Taro work tirelessly, reaching out to people in different neighborhoods, organizing meetings, and spreading the word about their cause. Slowly but surely, they start to gain support. Takeshi's fight is not just for the people of the slum, but for all those who have been oppressed and exploited by the system. He sees a world steeped in corruption and greed, where the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. A world that ignores the needs of the people and instead focuses on profit. But Takeshi is not willing to accept this reality. He knows that he can make a difference, that he can be the change he wants to see in the world. Takeshi's group has grown in size and strength. They've gained support from people in different neighborhoods, and their message is starting to spread.
We need to step up our game. We can't just sit back and wait for change to happen. We need to make it happen.
Takeshi's words inspire the group. They know that they're fighting for something greater than themselves, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goals.
We're going to organize a demonstration. We'll march through the streets of Tokyo, demanding change. We'll show the world that we won't be silenced.
Takeshi's determination is contagious. The group is ready to take on the world, to fight for a better future for all people. Takeshi's fight is far from over, but he knows that he's on the right path. He knows that he's fighting for something greater than himself, and he's willing to make whatever sacrifices are necessary to achieve his goals.